sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches,
Go.
and spectators. We request your collaboration by supporting the athletes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second round of the NCAA Division III Men's Soccer Tournament for 2018. From the campus of Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, my name is Darin Svenson with Megan Grimm on the camera and the computer. Tonight, it's the champions of the Northern Athletics Conference, Dominican, taking on the champions of the American Rivers Conference Tournament, the host school, the Luther College Norse. Luther got here with a 1-0 victory over Knox in overtime yesterday. Scoring in the 96th minute was Brunno Colon off a feed from Aidan O'Driscoll, and Luther picked up its 17th win of the year. The Norse are 17-3-1 on the campaign. Dominican had a 2-0 victory over Gustavus Adolphus out of the MIAC yesterday. A goal and an assist from Isaac Perez, and Jonathan Hernandez had the other goal. This is the first ever matchup between these two schools in men's soccer. Both teams coming in with a 7-match winning streak and a 9-match unbeaten streak into this contest. The matchup in goal for Dominican, freshman keeper Daniel Dominguez, 14-5, 6 shutouts this year. He had a shutout and 6 saves in the victory over Gustavus Adolphus yesterday. He has a goals against average of .90 and a save percentage of .800. The keeper for the Norse, the sophomore keeper, Carson Davenport. He's a sophomore out of Rockford, Illinois, and Boylan Catholic High School. He's 13-3-1 with 7 shutouts, picking up his 7th shutout yesterday, having 5 saves in the victory over Knox. He has a goals against average of .74 and a save percentage of .754. The Dominican starting lineups. We'll go with the forwards. Isaac Perez, 35 points on the season for him. He is number 6. Had the goal and the assist against Gustavus in the first round victory yesterday. Jonathan Hernandez, number 7, the freshman from Addison, Illinois. A second-team all-conference performer. He had a goal in yesterday's contest. Nico Vitali is number 8. Vitali with 7 goals and 5 assists on the season. To the midfielders for Dominican, Corbin Voiles, the junior from Washington, Missouri. He is number 4. Number 12 is Jesus Lopez, and number 18 is Alexander Lulek. Lulek, a second-team all-conference performer. Brunno Colon up the far side for Luther. Colon to the corner, and Colin Hughes will run down the rest of the lineup once this sequence is over, and a deflection and an immediate corner for Luther. 45 seconds in. The back line for Dominican. Number 19, Benji Ibarra, had an assist in yesterday's win. And 2 solid defenders, Michael Delaney, number 25, and Carlos Ramos, number 26, as well as Mario Sanchez for Dominican. O'Driscoll on the right side of the area. O'Driscoll sending it across, nobody home. Tristan Davenport runs it down to the left side of the area, but it's cleared out of the area by Ramos. To the North starting lineups in tonight's contest. Brunno Colon is number 9. He had the game-winning goal yesterday in the victory over Knox. It was his 3rd game winner of the season. He was an honorable mention all-conference performer for Luther. Rafael Brostagini, the senior out of Brazil, is number 11. Also up front, Ben Keller, an outstanding season for him, an All-American Rivers Conference performer. Keller with 10 goals and 5 assists, including 6 game winners. Keller up the right side, being defended by Delaney. The good battle continues. And who will have possession? It will be Dominican. Midfielders for Luther, Aidan O'Driscoll, the American Rivers Conference Offensive Player of the Year, number 7. Colin Hughes, number 8. And Luke Von Eschen, the American Rivers Conference Defensive Player of the Year, number 13. On the back line for Luther, number 2, Victor Machado. Number 6, Harry Mers, an All-American Rivers Conference performer. Jonathan Curran, number 14, and Tristan Davenport, number 15. Davenport with 5 goals, including 2 game winners this year. He was an All-American Rivers Conference performer for the Norse this season. Those are the 11 to start out this contest. Dominican looking for their first trip to the round of 16 since 2012. Luther trying to get to the round of 16 for the first time since 2011. The winner of this contest will face St. Thomas. St. Thomas up in the Twin Cities won their second round game earlier today. They will take on the winner of this contest. The St. Thomas Tommies defeated UW Superior 5-0 in the second round at home today. So it's St. Thomas, a team that Luther defeated on their home field earlier this year. Dominican did not play St. Thomas. They await the winner of this contest. Brosagini, near side Machado. Machado with a slight deflection, and Ramos clears the area for now. Kept in by Colin Hughes, but nothing materializes on the attempted connection with O'Driscoll, but the Norse keep it in their offensive third with Brosagini. Brosagini deflected out of the yard. Second corner coming up for Luther in the first 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the contest. Colon will play the corner from the near side. Colon led the American Rivers Conference in assist with 6. Had the game-winning goal in yesterday's contest, the senior from Brazil. Colon. First contact came from Ramos. Keeping it in the offensive third is Brosagini. Hughes. Brosagini. Colon on the near side, working against the defensive Sanchez. Colon out front. Keller! Davenport was there. He didn't get there. O'Driscoll with a deflection. Out front is Hughes. And Keller put it home on the rebound. And Luther goes up. 4 minutes and 32 seconds into this one. The sequence off the corner ends up being successful for Luther. And the Norse on the board. They didn't score until the 96th minute yesterday. They score in the 5th minute today.
For the Norse, number 18, Benjamin Keller. Assisting on the goal, number 8, Colin Hughes.
Keller gets the goal. Hughes awarded with an assist. Keller with goal number 11 on the season. Colin Hughes, the senior from Oregon, Wisconsin, awarded with assist number 2 on the season. Keller, the team leader in goals. He was among the league leaders in the American Rivers Conference in goals this year. And Keller gives Luther the early lead, 4:32 into the contest. Luther with the throw-in on the far side. Hughes. Keller giving some ground to O'Driscoll. He'll elude one defender, looking for some free space. But the defensive Delaney gets there first. He'll play it back to Dominguez. Dominguez tries to make the connection with Perez. Perez couldn't keep it in on the far touchline. Perez, outstanding season for him this year. First team All-Northern Athletics Conference performer. He had a goal and an assist in the victory over Gustavus yesterday, Dominican. In the national tournament for the second year in a row and for the 15th time. Their best ever trip was in 2009 when they got to the national semifinals. Hernandez out front. Machado will clear the area for now. Perez on the far side. Perez crossing. Hernandez was there, but Tristan Davenport got to it first. Keeping it in with a windup. And a big strike is Lulek. But Lulek sent it beyond the goal. That was Ibarra and not Lulek. My apologies. Goal kick coming up for Luther. 6.5 minutes elapsed. Keller with the goal at 4:32 and the Norse with an early advantage. Keeping it in is Vitali. Far side, Perez. He'll work against the defense of Curran. Both men go to the turf. And the foul going to be called on Perez. Luther in the national tournament for the 9th time. It's in 6 of the 9 appearances. They have reached at least the second round. They did so in their last appearance 2 years ago before bowing out to St. Thomas. Their last round of 16 appearance was 2011. Their best ever finish was the round of 8 in 96. Some contact from Hernandez, but running it down on the near side is Machado. They'll try to transition with Von Eschen, but interrupting the attempted start of the attack is Sanchez. Davenport. Keller. Brosagini on the near side. Leaving it to Machado, chipping it up near side, but it's going to go out of bounds at the Dominican bench. Dominican champions of the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference. That conference has had men's soccer for 13 years. The Stars have been the champions 10 times. Eric Baumann picked up his 390th career win in 23 seasons yesterday. Out front, charging in there was Vitale, but Carson Davenport able to control. Head coach Chris Garcia-Prats is in the NCAA tournament for the 4th time here at Luther in his 11 years. Von Eschen to the near side, and Sanchez tried to start the attack. Harry Murs got in the way in. Keller will control near midfield, but not for long. O'Driscoll on the right side, trying to connect with Keller. Keller in a good joust with Delaney up the far side. Hughes there to help him out now. And a play-on situation, Chris Garcia-Pratt not happy with the call, but the Norse keep it in the offensive third. Up the left side, Ibarra trying to send it down towards Vitale. And Vitale couldn't quite get there before Davenport controls. And Davenport will punt it out of there. There is a wind. It's blowing cross field tonight. From where our camera is located, it's blowing from our backs to the side of the field with the stands on. So it's probably a chilly night to be a spectator tonight, but no precipitation and a little bit of wind. So for the most part, weather won't be a factor tonight. This is an awfully slick field. Both teams had to get used to that last night in both games. Keeping it in is Lulek for Dominican. Von Eschen trying to get it out. Brosagini towards Machado. Lulek continuing to be oppressed. Trying to keep it in with Sanchez, but Brosagini able to control up the near side. Brosagini up the near side for Luther. Brosagini filling top of the 18 is O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll trying to wind up. It's partially deflected. O'Driscoll goes down. And it's cleared for the moment by Ramos on the Dominican back line. Keller a goal at 4:32, assisted by Hughes, and that's been the tally to this point as we are in the 12th minute. Luther leading by the 1-0 advantage. Luther and Dominican tonight for the right to face St. Thomas in the round of 16. That site will be determined later tonight. Also in this grouping, in this side of the bracket, Carleton is taking on Chicago right now. Dominican taking their time on the throw-in after the Dominican player trying to tie his shoe. Curran had the first contact on the throw-in, so Perez will try it again from downfield. 11:40 elapsed. Curran had the first contact, tries to clear. Can't do it as Ibarra tries to keep it in the offensive third and does so for Dominican. Ibarra to the corner and Perez. Perez with the cross. Hernandez waiting there. Vitale got first contact, but not at the right angle. And O'Driscoll wins the battle with Voiles to clear out. Here is Keller on the front for Luther. Keller being chased by two blue and black jerseys. Keller. Hughes, top of the 18, giving some ground to O'Driscoll. Hughes. Near side towards Brosagini. Brosagini looking for an opening. Hughes back towards Brosagini. Brosagini overran it a little bit. And Dominican able to defend with Lulek. 12.5 expired. Keller from Hughes for Luther at 4:32. And Luther with an early advantage in the second round of the NCAA tournament. This is the first time Luther has hosted since 2011. That was also the last time Luther made the round of 16. Lulek. A shadow interrupts Brunno Colon. Colon defended well by Hernandez at midfield. Hernandez couldn't keep it in though. And at the Luther bench, Machado will have the throw in literally right in front of your computer screen. At least from a picture standpoint. Luther will try again downfield as Machado will take responsibilities once again. I'm Darin Svenson, Megan Grimm providing you the camera and the computer work tonight. This is the NCAA Division III Soccer Tournament at sports.luther.edu. Machado trying to keep it in the offensive third for Luther, but the back line responding for Dominican with Carlos Ramos and a foul called on Von Eschen. Ramos, senior from Carpentersville, Illinois. Currently in graduate school at Dominican, working on his MBA. Trying to organize everybody. The contact came from Hughes. Curran trying to run it down to the quarter, being chased there by Lopez. And Curran will send it beyond the touchline, and Perez will have the throw in. 14.5 minutes in. The lead is 1-0 for Luther. Keller from Hughes at 4:32. And once again in the area, pop forward, Hernandez. And what's going to be the call? The center looks to his assistant referee for the call, and then the assistant referee points towards the keeper, Carson Davenport. Eric Bauman voicing displeasure, but the call will stand, and a goal kick will be played by Mers towards midfield, but keeping it in the offensive area was Lulek for Dominican. Dominican will keep possession as we're past the 15-minute mark in this one. Luther 1, Dominican 0. First ever meeting between these two schools. Tristan Davenport tried to clear. Ibarra keeps it in for Dominican. Second clearing attempt from Harry Mers. Keller near midfield to O'Driscoll up the right side towards Brosagini, but getting to it first will be Ibarra. Brosagini will get called for the foul though. So a free kick going to be played by Ramos for Dominican. Curran got first contact on him as O'Driscoll sends it downfield. Keller was between two defenders. And was that a foul on Dominican? It was. As the clock going to be stopped. Keller getting a chat from the center. And Luther will have the free kick near the beginning of their offensive third. Luther leading as we have expired 16-13 in this contest. Colon will play the free kick. Norse organized the set piece. Colon. O'Driscoll on the right side. O'Driscoll couldn't make anything materialize, and a goal kick coming up for the freshman keeper, Daniel Dominguez. Only 2 seniors in this starting 11 for Dominican. They've had an outstanding season, picking up their 15th win yesterday in a hard-fought 2-0 victory over the Gusties of St. Olaf of the Mayak. Gustavus Adolphus was their opponent. Gustavus Adolphus had defeated Dominican in the first round of the 2014 tournament, but Dominican got program revenge yesterday. Dominguez with the free kick for Dominican. .50-50 ball. Keller got first contact, but playing it will be Michael Delaney. Delaney, an all-region performer a year ago. Keeping it in is Voiles. Hernandez, top of the area. Voiles. Perez, 35 points on the season for him. Perez towards Hernandez, and Perez puts it home. The equalizer for Dominican. At 17:43. We're even at 1. Perez, 12 goals, 13 assists. Now a 37-point season for the talented junior from Elgin, Illinois. Neither team scored in the first half yesterday. Both have scored in the first 17 here today.
Scoring for the Dominican University Stars, number 6, Isaac Perez. Assisting on the goal, number 4, Corbin Voiles.
Corbin Voiles awarded an assist. That's his first trip to the point chart this year. So a goal for Perez and an assist for Voiles. The equalizer at 17:43. We're tied at 1 and the intensity increasing. Here at Luther Soccer Pitch, Perez against Davenport. There was a deflection. Hernandez going to run it down. He'll send it to the opposite side. Mers got contact for Luther. Keeping it in the offensive third was Ibarra. Ibarra towards Lopez. And Curran will try to send it out. Lubeck and Brosagini called for the foul. That was Voiles and Brosagini, my mistake. We've completed 19. We're tied at 1. Luther and Dominican on a Sunday night in Decorah, Iowa. Playing the free kick will be Delaney. Dominican organizes their set piece. 50-50 ball. First contact with Brunno Colon. Knocking it forward was Perez. Hernandez was there, but Davenport gobbles it up. A lot of action here in the opening 20. Luther 2 shots on goal. And 1 for Dominican thus far. Both teams had shutouts defensively yesterday. Neither team going to have one today. It's 1-1. Curran towards Keller, but getting to it first, Delaney. Delaney will earn a possession for Dominican. Delaney, the senior from Steamwood, Illinois. 2-time first-team All-Northern Athletics performer. He was the conference's Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. And a first-team All-Region player a year ago as well. So as talented as Keller is, Delaney, a tough customer as well. You can expect some entertaining battles between those two as the afternoon goes on. Third corner of the game coming up for Luther. Colon will set the set piece. Colon towards the area. Keller's on the opposite side. Couldn't quite make contact. O'Driscoll keeps it on the left side, working against Lubeck. O'Driscoll with Keller closing. A deflection and another corner. Coming up for the Norse as Colon will hustle over to the near side now. Minute 22 upon us. 1-1 Luther and Dominican. Colon to the opposite side. And corralling it is the freshman keeper, Dominguez. Dominguez punts it out of there. No connection made with Vitale, thanks to the defense of O'Driscoll. On the far side, it's Perez against Curran. Curran called for the foul, expressing displeasure. And a set piece chance coming up for Perez and Dominican. Dominican plays it with Perez. Curran got first contact, and now Dominican will get their first corner of the game just past the halfway point of half number one. Keller at 4:32 for Luther. Perez at 17:43 for Dominican. Perez plays the corner. Van Eschen got to it first. The Norse clear the area for now. Ibarra giving some ground back to Delaney. But nothing materializes since O'Driscoll got in the way, and Keller will transition for Luther as the first substitutes reporting to the stat keepers at midfield. Colon on the near side. Colon one-on-one. And Colon gets defended awfully well by Mario Sanchez. And the Stars will have possession. First subs coming in. Dennis Soldo and Josh Brindle, number 9 and number 21. Will come in for Dominican. Soldo, 6 goals, 8 assists, 2 game winners on the season. Brindle, 6 goals, 4 assists, 3 game winners on the season. Soldo is 9, Brindle is 21 for a reference point. For the spectators watching anywhere around the globe here at sports.luther.edu. With it on the right side is Hernandez. Hernandez rolls it towards the opposite side, but nobody was home for Dominican. And Davenport able to gobble it up. Megan Grimm on the camera and the computer. My name is Darin Svenson. 2 goals thus far, 1 per side. Ben Keller for Luther at 4:34, assisted by Colin Hughes. And Isaac Perez at 17:43 from Corbin Voiles for Dominican. Perez 2 goals here this weekend. 12 goals, 13 assists on the season for him. O'Driscoll trying to connect with Keller. What a battle between Keller and Delaney. And Delaney wins that one for the time being. Delaney will send it in. Davenport will field on a hop. Minute 27 upon us. Luther and Dominican tied at 1. Winner of this one gets St. Thomas. In the round of 16, St. Thomas victorious over Wisconsin Superior earlier today up in the Twin Cities by a 5-0 score. Loser of this will call it a great season. In the area with it, Hernandez. He's marked by Mers. Curran tried to get it out. Hernandez didn't let him do it. Hernandez with the cross on the opposite side. Davenport out front. Davenport rejects it once. A block, another block, and it's a clear. Dominican said there was a handball in the box, but it wasn't noticed by the center. Ramos towards the area, crashing there was Prindle. He'll clear towards midfield. Ramos will try again, but he couldn't make the connection with Perez as Curran sends it beyond the touchline on the far side. We're about ready to complete 27. Luther 1, Dominican 1 in the NCAA Division III soccer tournament. A wind-up, a big strike from Ibarra, and he'll send that one deep.
Now entering for the Norse, number 42, Aidan
Oro Okondo becomes the first substitute for the men of Chris Garcia-Prats. Oro Okondo had the assist on yesterday's game-winning goal by Brunno Colon. That was only the second game that went to overtime this season for Luther. The first time they got a win, the other was a draw in the American Rivers Conference schedule against Wartburg. Aidan Oro Okondo, just a freshman. We talked about him as he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He had the game-winning goal earlier this year in a victory over St. Thomas. The Tommies await the winner of this one. Ramos playing the free kick, and an offside as the flag goes up from the assistant on the side. 16 and a half remaining here in the first half. Keller a goal for Luther at 4:32. Perez a goal at 17:43 for Dominican. Dominican has played most of the game, about the last 5 to 10 minutes. Most of the game has been played on the side of the field to your right as you're looking at the side. Foul called on Dominican, and Aidan O'Driscoll will set the set piece for Luther. And the center will tell him to move back a few steps. O'Driscoll. That one got through both Hughes and Keller, and a goal kick coming up for Dominguez. And the first appearance for Logan Morrison for Luther on the Norse back line. Dominguez with the free kick. Brosagini got to it first, but Ramos sends things the other way for Dominican. O'Driscoll giving some ground to Von Eschen. O'Driscoll giving some more ground to Tristan Davenport. Hernandez continues to be a pest, and Davenport will send it out at midfield. Foul called on Sanchez as things get organized as Hughes gets a step on Voiles. But Ramos steps up on the back line for Dominican. And the Stars will possess with 13 3/4 remaining. (1-1) the score. Sanchez popping it forward was Prindle, but nobody was home for the Stars as Davenport retrieves. Luther 1. Dominican 1 in the NCAA tournament second round here in Decorah, Iowa. Luther with the 1-0 overtime victory over Knox yesterday. Dominican with the 2-0 victory over Gustavus Adolphus. Hernandez looked towards Soldo on the near side, but couldn't make a connection. Lulek. Ramos trying to get the spacing free. No connection made with Hernandez. Hughes near midfield, couldn't make it work. Aidan O'Driscoll. Tries to keep it in for Luther, but the clearing attempt interrupted. Mark Arthur Shapiro will give Rafael Brosagini a breather for Luther. Arthur Shapiro, you see number 32, just entering your picture. 33 complete here in the first half. Out of bounds it goes, no foul called that time. As Delaney goes down, he's a little slow in getting up, but Perez will play the throw in for Dominican. We are scoreless. Or we are even, I'm sorry, 1-1. Haven't decided a thing yet. 11 1/4 remaining here in the first half. Davenport. And the foul is going to be called on Dominican. So the Norse will go the other way. Mers will play the free kick. Luther organizing. Mers towards Keller at the top of the 18. Keller keeps possession. Keller denied once and gobbled up by Dominguez. Big strike from Keller. Dominguez with save number 2. One goal against and 8 saves in Decorah for Dominguez in the last 24 hours. And Luther will send Marcos Villa into the game. Number 16 just entering your picture.
Now entering for Luther College, number 16, Marcos Villa.
Marcos had the game-winning goal in the conference tournament championship game against Loris a week ago last night, which got Luther the automatic bid from the American Rivers Conference. Center giving some talkings to Faidan Aurora Okondo and Benji Ibarra for Dominican. Perez and Morrison, and Luther will possess. And Ibarra called for the foul against Faidan Aurora Okondo. Some of the home hooligans enjoying the whistle that time. We're 36 minutes complete. Harry Mers will play the free kick for Luther. Keller. O'Driscoll. Villa. Tried to connect with Mark Arthur Shapiro, but playing defense well was Sanchez. Sanchez with another chance defensively. Connection made with Hernandez on the near side. And Hernandez, he gets defended well by Tristan Davenport. Throw in coming on the near side with Alexander Lulek towards the middle. And Davenport will corral it on the right side of the goal area. Luther and Dominican tied at 1. 7:50 remaining in half number 1. Keller the goal for Luther. Perez the goal for Dominican. Both teams leading goal folks on the season to this point with the tallies for either squad. Keller the far side towards Aidan O'Driscoll, but it's interrupted by Abaro, who tries to transition to Perez, and some nice defense played by Harry Mers, the all-conference performer for Luther. Aidan O'Driscoll trying to run it down on the right far touchline. Keeping it will be Luther as we complete 38. (1-1) Luther and Dominican. Via Aurora Kondo double teamed on the right side. Defended by Dominican, but it ended up being corner number 4 of the game for Luther. Four corners for Luther, 1 for Dominican thus far. A sequence off a corner got him the first goal. Defending well, Delaney. Mark Arthur Shapiro trying to run it down. Down goes O'Driscoll. Foul called on Dominican. So the Norse with an opportunity at the set piece. Dominican player arguing his case, but O'Driscoll will get a free kick out of it. Minute number 40 upon us. Luther and Dominican are 1-1. O'Driscoll towards the area, towards Keller, but interrupted by Delaney. O'Driscoll trying to keep it in the area towards the top of the 18, but he couldn't withstand the defense of Voiles during that sequence. Lubeck with the clearing attempt didn't work. Second clearing attempt does work for Sanchez. Perez crashing. Davenport with the gamble, and it works. He went well out of his immediate area, but keeping it in is Lopez for Dominican. Perez on the left side. Perez rolls it in, but Tristan Davenport there to defend. Voiles keeps it in the offensive third on the far side. Perez towards the area. Header! Goal! Perez and Hernandez connect. And Dominican, with 2 unanswered goals, leads at 2-1. Perez with a goal and an assist in both contests here in Decorah. Hernandez with goal number 10. He had a goal yesterday in the win against Gustavus as well. 2 unanswered as the Norse scored 4:32 in, but Dominican has scored the next 2.
Scoring for the Dominican University Stars, number 7, Jonathan Hernandez. Assisting on the goal, number 6, Isaac Perez.
Perez to Hernandez. at 41-11. And a foul called on Dominican. Aidan O'Driscoll creating the chance with some quickness there. Aidan O'Driscoll. Aidan O'Driscoll with the free kick opportunity. You see the organization from the camera work of Megan Grimm. O'Driscoll chips it forward. Side of the goal. And the second chance from Mers is gobbled up by Dominguez. Dominguez making the save from point-blank range that time, his third of the night. Two of them have been point-blank saves. And Dominican continues its lead at 2-1. Von Eschen to the near side. Mark Arthur Shapiro stripped, taken away by Sanchez. Sanchez crossing. Getting to it first was Morrison. Mers will clear it to the right far side. A foul going to be called on Dominican. Perez against Von Eschen. 3 1/4 remaining in the first half. Goals by Perez and Hernandez. And Dominican leads it by a 2-1 advantage. Trying to get to the round of 16 for the first time since 2012. Luther trying to get there for the first time since 2011. Foul called on Luther as we're in minute number 43 here of the first half. Ben Keller a goal at 4:32 from Colin Hughes for Luther. Isaac Perez a goal at 17:43 from Corbin Voiles for Dominican. And Hernandez off a cross from Perez at 41-11, and Dominican took the lead on that goal. Morrison had first contact, and the Stars will have a corner, which will be their second of the night.
Now entering for Dominican University, number 14, Ethan Grossum.
Ethan Grossum, number 14, his first appearance for Dominican. Second corner of the night for Dominican. Delaney playing the corner. Morrison got first contact. Shapiro trying to clear. Can't make it work. Sanchez sending it ahead. And that one will go out. 90 seconds remaining in the first half.
Now entering for Dominican University, number 27, Christopher Linkenbach.
Christopher Linkenbach in for Dominican. 2-1 the score. Dominican on top. Luther does have 4 come from behind victories this year, including a come from behind victory in the conference tournament championship game 8 days ago. Aidan O'Driscoll up the right side. Quickness from the freshman out of Minneapolis, but Ibarra there to say no. Luther will try again with 45 seconds remaining. First half. Aurora Kondo against Ibarra. Gets double teamed, and Luther will keep possession. And the official will stop the clock. Ibarra getting a talking to. And I believe actually that was Aidan O'Driscoll voicing displeasure, and that's the reason for the yellow in that situation. First yellow we've seen tonight. That yellow comes at 44-26. And an offside called on Luther with 30 seconds left here in the first half. Luther had the first goal. Keller at 4:32. Actually, they called a foul on Dominican. I'm sorry. I thought the flag went up for an offside, but Aidan O'Driscoll will get a free kick opportunity just outside the area right side. 22 seconds remaining in the half. The clock was stopped. The wall set up. The center will get into position. And the whistle. And O'Driscoll rolls it forward, chops it in the area. Deflection. Wind up by Shapiro. He didn't get a lot on it. And it's going to go out. And a goal kick coming up for Dominican. Ben Keller a goal at 4:32 from Colin Hughes for Luther. But the two other goals, Dominican goals. Isaac Perez at 17:43 from Corbin Voiles. And at 41:11, Jonathan Hernandez from Isaac Perez. And Dominican leads it by a 4-1 advantage. Luther with 4 shots on goal. Dominican with 2. Luther with 9 overall shots. Dominican with 7. Luther's had 4 corners, and Dominican has had 1. Entertaining first half of soccer for both these squads. The final 45 should be fun. Luther and Dominican. Dominican leads it 2-1. Winner plays St. Thomas next weekend. You're watching the NCAA Division III Men's Soccer Tournament at sports.luther.edu. Second half about ready to commence. Dominican with a 2-1 lead. Goals from Jonathan Hernandez and Isaac Perez. And a Luther goal from Ben Keller. My name is Darin Svenson. Megan Grimm on the camera and the computer. As long as we have a second here on this special day, we want to thank all veterans and active duty military as we celebrate Veterans Day today. Thank you for what you have done and what you currently are doing. Dominican with the 2-1 lead here to start the second half. They've had 7 shots. 2 have been on frame. Luther with 4 shots on goal. 1 got by the keeper, Daniel Dominguez. Luther with 9 overall shots in that first half. Luther with 4 corner kicks and 1 corner kick for Dominican here in the first half. Luther has only lost once on their home field this year. That was to Wheaton, another team out of the Chicagoland area. Machado with the defense on Jonathan Hernandez. That's ruled legal, much to the chagrin of Coach Eric Bauman and the Dominican bench. Dominican has been a solid team in true road games this year as well. They are 7-2-1 away from their Chicagoland area campus. Keller near side to Colon. Colon looking for an opening, but stepping up defensively was Lulek. Hughes. Colon. No connection made with Brosagini as Lulek forces a restart for the Norse. Dominican leading 2-1. Their goals at 17:43 in at 41-11. Luther got their goal, the Keller goal, at 4:32 in that first half. Mers defending. Keeping it in was Voiles. Voiles to the near side, and Perez with a goal and an assist in each of the games this weekend. Perez. Nothing materializes for the Stars as Keller plays it on the near side for Luther. And forcing the restart was Delaney. Curran will take throw-in responsibilities 2 minutes into the second half. And exciting, entertaining soccer here tonight against between two quality opponents, as you would expect when you get down to the final 32 in the country. Brosagini sent to the touchline by Benji Ibarra. Curran. Hughes in the near side corner. And a goal kick coming up for Dominican. Thanks to some nice defense from Corbin Voiles. Three minutes into the second half, and the goal kick coming up from Dominguez. Luther will have the throw-in right in front of the folks at home. O'Driscoll, near side. Perez will earn possession for Dominican. Curran on the near side being defended there by Lopez. Connection made with Keller. Keller had the first half goal for Luther. He's defended by Delaney. And Delaney with some more nice defense. Keller finding Hughes. Keller amongst the crowd. Voiles able to clear for Dominican. Trying to get there was Haitali. And Haitali called for the foul. Dominican not agreeing with the call. Brosagini with Ibarra called for the foul. Brosagini will yield free kick responsibilities to Curran. First contact from Voiles. And a painful way to earn possession as Brosagini plays with that one. Off the upper chest. Winner of this one will get St. Thomas, who defeated Wisconsin Superior 5-0 earlier today. Hughes and Ibar will defend, and keeping in possession is Dominican. Dominican leading 2-1 on goals by Perez and Hernandez. In the first half, the Luther goal from Ben Keller. Perez with a goal and an assist in both games this weekend. Hernandez with a goal in both games here this weekend. And a whistle. And the foul called on Luther, and a free kick coming up for Dominican. Hard contact. Voices from the Dominican bench. The whistle had blown. The center right on top of the call. Perez will play the free kick. As the clock going to be stopped, as some organization wasn't to the liking of the center, so few folks will get some talking to. Perez has the okay from the center, and Perez, Curran had first contact. Brosagini will try to clear. Chipping it forward, but keeping it in was Ibarra. Ibarra on the ground, but Keller right there for Luther. Keller, Colon to the near side. Brosagini trying to get a step, but some more nice defense from Delaney, preventing the chance. And out it will go. Quick set on the throw in from Colon. Colon defended well by Ramos, and Delaney kept it in and will clear the area for Dominican. Perez against Curran as they try to transition, but Machado with the defense. Brosagini stays on side, and outside of his area goes Dominguez. Dominguez with the punt. Sending it forward was Lulek. To the far side, and Hernandez giving some ground to Sanchez. O'Driscoll plays it forward, keeping it in the offensive end for the moment. For Dominican was Ibarra, but Hughes there for Luther. He'll try to find Colon, but can't do it. 53 complete. Dominican 2, Luther 1. Perez and Hernandez, the goals for Dominican. The Luther goal from Keller. Keller's goal at 4:32. Perez's goal at 17:43. Hernandez's goal at 41:11. A deflection and a corner coming up for Dominican. It'll be corner number 2 of the game for them. Perez will play the corner. You see the organization in front of you. In the area. And the foul called on Dominican. Free kick going to be played by Mers. To the near side. And that one almost came right into your living room. Dominican will keep possession. We're in minute number 55. Near side with it is Lopez. Lopez getting double teamed in Colon. Clears for the moment. Perez. Ibarra. Ibarra getting by one defender. Mers going to defend for Luther. Ibarra will try again, but O'Driscoll interrupts. Hard work from Lubeck, kept it in the area. Near side with it is Perez. Perez got by one defender. Perez with the cross. Too high and deep. It was a Perez cross to Hernandez that got the go-ahead goal for the moment for Dominican. That game at 41-11 in that first half. But that time the cross doesn't work. Mers plays the free kick for Luther. Hughes with first contact. Keller. O'Driscoll to the near side in Colon. Ibarra will run it down for Dominican. Colon to the corner, and it'll be, I believe, Dominican possession. It will be. And after a little bit of discrepancy, Curran got first contact. Sending it downfield was Ibarra. Hernandez tries to keep it in, but there to fill and help out was Lopez. Lopez getting a lot of attention. Perez will fill and help out right in front of the Dominican bench. Perez. Some hard contact from Colon. And this time, it's going to be a foul on Curran. Curran in the corner. Perez will have an opportunity to organize the set piece. Perez with an assist and a goal thus far. Crossing. No connection made. Lopez runs it down along the far touchline. And a foul called on Machado. Free kick coming up for Dominican. Sanchez will play it. 58th minute. Towards the area, popped into the air. O'Driscoll with contact right out front. Norse try to clear. Voiles tries to keep it in the area. Voiles will try again. Perez. Pinballed around. Rolling it forward. Curran. Controlling now is Hernandez. Lopez. Cleared for the area by O'Driscoll. Keller. Keller gets knocked down by Ibarra. And a free kick coming up for Luther. Curran will play the free kick. We complete 58. 2-1 Dominican. Perez and Hernandez with goals for Dominican. Keller with a goal for Luther. Dominican 2 unanswered after the Norse had the first tally of the game. In the 5th minute, Davenport. Lulek trying to keep it in. Davenport. O'Driscoll. Keller. Keller couldn't get his footing. Neither could O'Driscoll, but now he controls, being checked by Voiles. Colon had the game winner yesterday. Colon gets by one defender, but stepping up once again defensively, it was Delaney. Curran keeps it in the offensive third, but the block from Voiles will disrupt for Luther. Brosagini on the far side, but Brosagini couldn't make it work. Dominican will possess. We're into the 60th minute. Dominican leading 2-1. Winner gets St. Thomas, who defeated Wisconsin Superior earlier today up in the Twin Cities. Hughes will force the restart for Dominican. Lulek on the throw-in. O'Driscoll controls. O'Driscoll couldn't keep it in corner number 3 coming up of the game for Dominican. The Stars is Isaac Perez. Will play it from the far side. Perez with a goal and an assist. He had a goal and assist yesterday in the victory over Gustavus Adolphus. Perez. Machado got to it first. Perez will try again. The opposite side. Vitale against Curran. Curran will clear on the ground, and they'll be able to transition with Brunno Colon. Colon defending, and Colon, they'll stop the clock, and the center will give him a conversation and a yellow. (60-36), a yellow called on Colon. Eric Bauman arguing for a red there. Bauman and the center having a discussion here as the clock is stopped. We're a little under 30 minutes remaining in the game. Bauman made his case. The center not going to be changing his mind. Faidan Aurora Okondo will come in for Brunno Colon.
Number 42, Faidan Oro Akondo.
And playing the free kick was Ramos. Ramos into the area, header. But nobody home on the near side for Dominican. It'll go out, and Davenport will have the goal kick coming up. Logan Morrison will come into the Luther back line as you see him walk into your picture. Goal kick responsibilities will be given to Harry Mers. 16 minutes into the second half, meaning 61 into the game. Dominican still leading by the 2-1 advantage. Dominican in control with Perez. Perez crossing. The opposite side couldn't make the connection with Hernandez. Hernandez will hustle and retrieve against Machado. Crossing. Header to the left of the goal. Vitale didn't quite have the right angle. But a good look and a good chance. Once again for Dominican. Dominican now tied with Luther in overall shots with 9. 4 on frame for Luther, 2 on frame for Dominican, and the two they've had on frame have gotten by keeper Carson Davenport. Norse transition with Keller. Keller with some free space, finding O'Driscoll top of the area. O'Driscoll overran it a bit. And there to defend was Delaney once again. Popping it forward. O'Driscoll. Brosagini. Was it touched? It was. Corner number 5 of the game coming up for Luther. Hughes will take responsibility in the near side as the teams organize. Hughes towards Feidan, Aurora Okondo. O'Driscoll towards Mers. Davenport battling for position. Keller outside the area, left side. Keller crossing. Brosagini on the near side. Brosagini trying to slow it down, but the flag goes up for an offside on the near side. 63 now complete. Dominican led 2-1 at the halftime intermission. They lead 2-1 now. Colon. Hughes with contact. Hernandez tries to control, and Von Eschen interrupts. To the near side, Perez. Ibarra. Nothing materializes for the Stars as Feidan, Oro Okondo being chased by Ibarra up the far side, but Ibarra leaves Sanchez on the defensive responsibility against Aurora Okondo, who had the assist on the game-winning goal yesterday against Knox. Aurora Okondo on the left side. Brosagini tried to keep it in the area. Brosagini defended well by Ibarra. And the Stars attempt to transition, but keeping it in the offensive half for Luther was Mers. Von Eschen. Feidan, Aurora Okondo. Keller. 50-50 ball, Brosagini. Brosagini winds up the block from Ibarra. It'll deflect and get to Dominguez for him to gobble up. Luther has seen an increased sense of urgency among the guys in white over the last 2 to 3 minutes overall. But the back line of Dominican has prevented the chances from materializing. Luther still looking for that equalizer. With 25 remaining, out front is Keller. Keller had it cleared for the moment. Perez overran it. Von Eschen keeps it in the offensive third. Brosagini trying to keep it in, and he wasn't able to do so. Josh Prindle will enter for Dominican. 24.5 remaining. Stars 2, Norse 1. Here at the NCAA tournament, Decorah, Iowa site. Luther hosting for the first time since 2011. That was the last year the Norse made the round of 16, the sectional semifinals. Dominican was last there in 2012. So both these teams with a good amount of success.
Number 9, Dennis Soldo. And entering for Luther, number 10, Andrew Abram.
They haven't reached the top 16 in the country in 6 and 7 years respectively. Andrew Abram entering for the first time for Luther. On the front line, O'Driscoll. Got by one defender, O'Driscoll, post! Cleared for the moment by Dominican. Von Eschen against Soldo. And outside the pitch it goes off the touch from Ibarra. Or was it Ramos? I believe it was Ramos. O'Driscoll with the windup. O'Driscoll just missed it to the side of the goal. Again, Norse getting their chances. As 67 minutes now done. Dominican 2, Luther 1. Entertaining contest on the pitch in Decorah tonight. Avram. Hughes runs it down in front of the Luther coaching staff. Avram one-on-one with Voiles, but Avram couldn't make it work without the interruption. Andrew Avram. Hughes. Voiles pops it ahead. The header from Von Eschen, controlled by Keller near the top of the 18. Keller defended well. Keller goes down. O'Driscoll. He did have Avram crashing, but Dominguez had a good look from the get-go. Into minute number 69. Dominican leading 2-1. Offside called on Dominican on the far side. Winding up and playing the free kick was Machado. No connection made with Keller. Keeping in was Dominguez. Keller goes down to harass him enough that he has to pick it up and punt. Perez was the intended recipient. Von Eschen towards Hughes. Tried to run it down towards Keller, but Ramos, his attempt to clear. Run down by Fadon. Aurora Okondo. Luther will keep possession. Down to 20 3/4 remaining as the Norse continuing to look for that equalizer. Dominican leads it 2-1. Entertaining contest here in Decorah. Machado. Bodies to the turf. Nothing called, and now the clock has been stopped with 20 minutes and 20 seconds remaining as a injured Norse out on the field. The training staff going out as well as Keller gets up. Now waves the training staff up. I think the clock stoppage came from the injury. I think most, and I think Keller, since he was attended to, has to come off, at least briefly, and Luther will get the free sub with the injury. And Keller was checked for the head injury. He was cleared by the trainers and everything's ready to go. And he'll now be allowed back into the game. 20 1/4 remaining. Dominican 2, Luther 1. Wheaton, the only team to beat Luther on the home pitch this year. Machado. Fadon Aurora Okondo. Now Von Eschen will be able to transition for Luther. Von Eschen. Von Eschen trying to keep his footing. Keller. And a foul from behind. The whistle will come against Dominicans, Josh Prindle. And Prindle will get the yellow. Yellow coming at 70-14. That's the first yellow of the night for Dominican. 2 yellows against Luther, Aidan O'Driscoll, and Brunno Colon. The center will take care of the paperwork before play is allowed to resume. A stoppage at 19:46 remaining. O'Driscoll will play the free kick for Luther. Norse still trailing 2-1 on a Sunday night here in Decorah. O'Driscoll with the windup. And just wide of the goal on the attempt from Aidan O'Driscoll, and substitutes coming in for both sides. Marcos Villa. And Giacomo Perino in for the first time, number 22 for Dominican. Dominican with a 2-1 advantage. In case you're just joining us, Ben Keller had the first goal for Luther at 4:32 from Colin Hughes. The equalizer for Dominican came from Isaac Perez from Corbin Voiles at 17:43. The go-ahead goal for the moment for Dominican was Jonathan Hernandez from Isaac Perez on a beautiful cross at 41:11. There's been no scoring here in the second half. Luther's gotten their fair share of shots. 5 shots on frame, 15 shots overall. 3 shots on frame for Dominican. Perez had it interrupted by Morrison. Kept in the offensive third by Lulek. Near side, Perino. Perino winds up. Davenport there to defend. That was Tristan in front of his brother Carson. Dominican will keep possession with 18.25 remaining. A trip to the round of 16. And a meeting with the Tommies of St. Thomas on the line. Tommies won earlier today in the Twin Cities, 5-0 over Wisconsin Superior. Near side with it. It is Ramos. Logan Morrison. Perez kept it in for the moment. Morrison now Perino controls. Perino on the left side. Perino with a cross. Little too long for both Soldo and Prindle to run down, but Prindle now in a joust with Machado in the corner. Dominican will keep 17.5 remaining, potentially in one of those teams' seasons. Or will we have to go extra time? Luther did yesterday in the victory over Knox. Luther does have 4 come from behind victories this year, including a win in postseason play at Loris to win the conference tournament title. Voiles had his shot blocked by Aidan O'Driscoll. A step forward. Villa able to control for Luther. They try to clear towards midfield, try to run it down was Sanchez, and Sanchez sends it back in the offensive zone where it's controlled by the Norse. Ben Keller trying to run it down. It's going to go all the way through. And Dominguez will have the goal kick. And a substitute, Ethan Grossum, coming in for Dominican. Goal kick responsibilities from Ramos. Foundation towards Keller. Keller trying to win the ball against Sanchez. Aidan O'Driscoll couldn't make the connection with O'Driscoll. And Dominguez prevent it from going beyond the touchline. Otherwise, it would have been a corner. Punt from Dominguez. Morrison controls for Luther up the near touchline. Villa sent it forward towards Keller. Villa will try to get the spacing fade on. Aurora Kondo was cutting in, but Ramos steps up on the back line for Dominican. Stars will control as we're about ready to put 75 in the books. No scoring yet here in the second half. Dominican leading 2-1. Goals by Perez and Hernandez. The Luther goal from Keller. Luther scored 4:32 in, but Dominican able to keep them off the board since that time. Desperately looking for that equalizer are the Norse, Andrew Abram. Abram returned to the lineup yesterday after a few weeks off with an injury. Abram getting by one defender. O'Driscoll top of the area. O'Driscoll eludes a couple of defenders. Gives it back towards Abram. Keller goes down in the box, no whistle. Faidan Aurora Kondo on the left side. Keller, O'Driscoll out front! O'Driscoll with the equalizer! We're even at 2! The American Rivers Conference Offensive MVP with the equalizer for Luther. Goal number 6 of the season for Aidan O'Driscoll, the senior from Minneapolis. And we have a new match. It's 2-2.
Scoring for the Norse on that play, number 7, Aidan O'Driscoll. Assisting on the goal, number 18, Ben Keller. Entering the game,
O'Driscoll, goal number 6. Keller, assist number 6 on the season. So Keller now with a 28-point season. Aidan O'Driscoll now with a 15-point season. We're even at 2. 13 and a half remaining. The O'Driscoll goal, the equalizer, coming in the 76th minute. We mentioned Luther with 4 come from behind wins, including 1 in postseason play. Brunno Colon on the left side. Colon get by one defender. Colon with a good look, but it's too tall. The home hooligans, who were sitting a little bit on their hands towards the latter stages, now fired up on this cold night in Decorah. Two. 12 3/4 remaining. O'Driscoll shipping it ahead towards Keller. Keller on the left side. Keller running it down. Defended there by Ramos. Abram. Prindle defends for Dominican. Perino can't sustain an attack, and Luther possessions with 12 1/4 remaining as Colon tries to run it down in the corner. Amazingly, he's able to do so. Some good hustle from Colon towards Keller. First contact, though, came from Delaney. And now the Stars try to transition. Up the far side, trying to run it down with Pasulo. The Stars will possess with 11 3/4 remaining. Fresh legs coming in with Vitale, with Perez, and with Hernandez. Those three combined this year with 28 goals. They're the three top leading scorers for Coach Eric Bauman's team, and Bauman will get his three top scorers back in for the final 11 1/4 of regulation. We're even at 2. O'Driscoll gets the equalizer at 75-53. Entertaining soccer tonight in the NCAA tournament in Decorah. O'Driscoll towards Keller. Avram trying to keep it in the offensive zone. He's harassed there by Voiles. O'Driscoll. Avram overran it and Voiles defends. Luther will have possession as Machado will have the throw in at midfield. Colon. Brunno had the game winner yesterday for the Norse. And a foul called on Colon on the way out. Or the way in, depending on your perspective. Two. Luther and Dominican meeting for the first time ever. O'Driscoll with first contact off the free kick. Avram will send it towards the near side and Brosagini, but it's interrupted by Ibarra. Avram. Mers. Brosagini couldn't run it down. And Voiles controls. Voiles to the near side. Stopped there by Morrison. Which way will the foul go? Will go against Dominican. Voiles got the foul and a quick set for Luther. Keller giving some ground. Avram on the near side. Keller. Moore. Nice defense played by Michael Delaney. It's kept in by the Norse though. Luke Von Eschen. Von Eschen towards Keller. Delaney kept Keller from attacking it too strong, and Dominguez there to gobble it up. 18 shots now overall for the Norse. They have put 7 on frame. Dominican has only put 3 of their 11 overall shots on frame, but the most important stat is 2-2. And there's 8.5 remaining in regulation. Vitale on the far side. A deflection. And Carson Davenport controls. Luther had to play 95 plus to get the victory yesterday. It was only their second overtime game of the season. Hernandez. O'Driscoll. Norse trying to organize. Avram. Avram up. Avram with a windup off the post. Andrew Avram inches away from a go-ahead goal, but the post wasn't friendly. Quickly ahead. Good transition. It's Prindle for Dominican. Prindle with the cross. Interrupted by Machado. Hernandez runs it down on the far side. Hernandez gets a step on Davenport. Hernandez had it deflected out on the block by Machado, and a corner kick coming up. Perez will take responsibility on the corner kick. 83 remaining. Or 83 expired, I should say. We're equal at 2. This is the 5th corner of the game for Dominican. Cross. Mers with first contact. Delaney tried to get the right angle and couldn't quite do it. 2-2 with 6.5 minutes remaining in regulation. To the near side, Perez. Ibarra towards Vitale. Mers got there first. Near side with it. Mers trying to make a connection with Keller, and that's going to be a handball. Free kick coming up for Dominican. We put 94 on the board. Dominican has been to overtime twice this year. They defeated Aurora in the conference tournament, 3-2 on a Halloween night. They played Platteville to a 2-2 draw. Free kick played by Ramos. Avram against Sanchez. Von Eschen. And sent beyond the near touchline to Prindle, and the throw-in coming from Morrison. O'Driscoll. Von Eschen, Keller. Out front is Avram. Avram between two defenders. And Avram called for the whistle as we complete 85 rather. 2-2 the score. Aidan O'Driscoll's equalizer came in the 76th minute after the Norse hadn't scored since the 5th minute. Goals in the 18th and the 42nd minute by Isaac Perez and Jonathan Hernandez for Dominican. Delaney towards the near side, and Perez. Defending that one is Morrison. Right side with it as Keller tried to pop it ahead towards Abram. Ramos there to defend for the Stars. O'Driscoll had it deflected there by Dominican. Vitale got by one defender, but helping out on the backside was Logan Morrison. We have 86 complete, 2-2. Luther and Dominican in the NCAA Division III Men's Soccer Tournament. Winner gets St. Thomas next weekend. The loser will leave it all out on the field in a hard-fought contest tonight. Keller trying to run it down on the far side. Ramos gets there first. Dominican will possess with 3.5 remaining. Wind starting to pick up a little bit more, but it is a cross-field wind, so neither team has an advantage. Vitale getting a step on one defender. Morrison there to defend. Perez falls down. Taking advantage of it was Mers, but he can't take too much advantage of it as Perez causes the interruption. And down goes Voiles, and that'll be a foul on Luther. 2 3/4 remaining. Free kick going to be played by Dominican. Free kick played by Dominican. Perez will play it. He's got a goal and an assist thus far tonight. You see the organization on your computer screen. Perez into the area, but first contact came from O'Driscoll. Avram trying to run it down, but he's defended well by Sanchez. Sanchez sends it back towards the area, giving some ground. Here's Perez. Perez had it blocked by Morrison. Morrison clears the defensive third for Luther as we're into minute number 89. Brosagini, Avram, Brosagini on the right side. Rafael, Brosagini lost his footing a bit, and recovering was Delaney. Delaney defending against Brosagini, and he'll clear for the moment. 90 seconds remaining. Brosagini with the cross towards Keller. Timing wasn't exactly there. Colon towards Keller. Keller puts it home. Keller, goal number 12. Luther 3, Dominican 2. The go-ahead goal at 88-36. Still a minute 24 remaining. Luther went 71 minutes of game time without a goal. They scored 2 minutes in less, or 2 goals in less than 13.
Brunno Colon. Assisting on the goal was number 11, Rafael Brosagini.
They're going to give the goal to Colon.
Entering the game for Dominican University.
Colon got the goal. His 7th goal of the season.
Re-entering for Luther, number 8.
Potentially his 4th game winner. Brosagini got the assist, his 4th as well. As we're into minute number 90.
1 minute remaining.
Keller couldn't keep it in on the near touch line. 40 seconds remaining now. Throw in coming for Dominican. They trail at 3-2. Dominguez. Brosagini. And Brosagini will send it beyond the touchline with 23 seconds remaining. Sanchez. Hughes with the interruption. Keller trying to control.
10,
You hear the countdown behind you.
7, 6, 5,
Perez couldn't get to it.
3, 2,
For the first time since 2011, Luther is heading to the Sweet 16. For the 5th time this season.
3. Dominican University 2. Can the students please get off the field? Can the students please clear the field right now?
Luther with a come-from-behind victory.
Luther advances
5 come-from-behind victories for the Luther College Norse this year. 2 here in postseason play. A tremendous match tonight. An entertaining contest between 2 very, very talented teams. It was a 2-1 contest at the half. The equalizer from Aidan O'Driscoll at 75-53 from Keller. And for the second time in less than 24 hours, Brunno Colon with a game-winning goal. Assisted by Rafael Brosagini. And Luther will move on to the round of 16.
Will both teams please go to the center of the field to shake hands and then start an award ceremony for Dominican University?
Luther 3, Dominican 2. In an entertaining contest here. On the Luther Norse soccer pitch this evening. So Luther will play St. Thomas. The site will be known later on tonight in the round of 16. It's the first time Luther has been to the round of 16 since 2011. And a great season for Dominican soccer comes to a close with a 15-6-1 record. We thank you for tuning in and logging on. And we hope you enjoyed our coverage tonight of Luther and Dominican in the NCAA Division III soccer tournament. Luther beats Dominican 3-2. For our camera and computer operator, Megan Grimm, I'm Darin Svenson, saying so long from Decorah and the NCAA Division III men's soccer tournament.